好，说翻脸就翻脸。
There's no shortage of female-led action movies. Hollywood has been making them for decades. Atomic Blonde, Salt, Haywire, Kill Bill, Ballerina. Some of them are great films, but they all have something in common. The action is built around the character, not the performer. The stunts are designed to make an actress look dangerous, not to showcase what she can actually do. This list is different. Every film on it features a woman whose physical capability is real, not manufactured in post, not suggested through editing. These are performers who trained seriously, took real hits, and carried the action on their own terms. No male hero arriving at the last minute to save them. And when you look at where films like this come from, it's almost never Hollywood. It's Hong Kong, it's Korea, it's Japan, it's Indonesia, it's Vietnam. The West has been making action movies with women for years. But it's only just starting to make action movies for them. Here are 5 of the best. Baby Assassins arrives with a deceptively low-key premise. 2 teenage assassins, Chisato and Mahiro, complete their final mission and are ordered by their organization to do something far more terrifying. Get normal jobs and live like regular people. What follows is a slice-of-life comedy about 2 extremely dangerous girls trying to navigate roommate dynamics, part-time work, and social awkwardness, punctuated by some of the most explosive close-quarter action in recent Japanese cinema. The tonal contrast is the point. The film earns its fight scenes by making you genuinely invest in these 2 as people first. By the time the violence arrives, you're completely on their side. And when it does, well, take a look. Saori Izawa, who plays the deadpan Mahiro, is a professional stuntwoman who worked on the Rurouni Kenshin films. And it shows. She moves with the kind of economy and precision that you can't fake. Akari Takaishi, playing the extroverted Chisato, is an actress who trained specifically for this role. The fact that she holds her own against a professional stuntwoman for the entire film tells you just about everything you need to know about her commitment to it. And if you're new to female-led action cinema, this is probably your best entry point. It doesn't ask you to leave the femininity at the door. The slice-of-life sections aren't padding between the fights. They're the reason the fights mean something. There's also a sequel, Baby Assassins 2, Babies, and a TV series, which means that if you fall for this film, there's a lot more waiting for you. The Villainous announces itself in its first 5 minutes with one of the most audacious action sequences in history. A first-person POV rampage through a criminal hideout that feels like a video game on speed. The film received a 4-minute standing ovation at Cannes. In it, Kim Ok-bin plays Suki, a trained assassin whose violent past keeps catching up with her in her new life. Ok-bin holds a 3rd dan in Hapkido and a 2nd dan in Taekwondo. She performed the majority of her own stunts after 4 months of daily training in an action stunt school. Her skills are on screen in every frame. The film varies its action in genuinely inventive ways. The opening POV, a motorcycle sword fight, a final confrontation staged with a near operatic intensity. Each set piece honestly feels like its own event. Where The Villainous loses some people is the story. The plot is non-linear, layered with betrayal and flashbacks, and it takes some work to follow. It's a film that's stylized, sometimes to a fault. The Shadow Strays is the newest film on this list, and the most overwhelming. Indonesian director Timo Tjahjanto, the man behind The Night Comes For Us, holds nothing back for the 2-hour and 24-minute runtime. Aurora Ribeiro plays Codename 13, a teenage assassin who goes rogue in Jakarta to protect a young boy whose mother has been killed by a local crime syndicate. What follows is some of the most relentless and inventive action choreography you'll see anywhere. Sword fights, hand-to-hand, baseball bats, bullets. Each sequence finds a completely different language for violence. What makes it remarkable is that Ribeiro had no martial arts background before this film, but her performance is physically convincing from the first frame to the last. Not just in the fights, but in the way she carries herself between them. She already moves like someone who's been doing this for years. Part of that comes down to Timo's steady direction, but Ribeiro deserves a lot of credit for it too. Quick note, this is a very violent film. If The Raid is your benchmark for Indonesian action, Shadow Strays operates at a similar intensity. It was named the #1 martial arts film of 2024 by Taekwondo Life magazine, and it hit Netflix's global top 10 in 85 countries within 6 days of release. Before we get into the top 2, a Vietnamese film that came very close to making this list. Furie follows a former gangster turned single mother who will tear through an entire criminal network to recover her kidnapped daughter. Veronica Ngo is magnetic, dangerous and desperate in equal measure, and the action is choreographed with a clarity and physicality that rivals anything on this list. It's a tighter, leaner film than The Shadow Strays, and some would argue it's even the better one. Either way, if this list made you curious, check out Furie. It's worth it. By 1985, Hong Kong action cinema had developed a standard that Hollywood couldn't touch. Performers were expected to do their own stunts, take real hits, and train seriously for their roles. That expectation applied equally to women, not as a progressive statement, but as a production reality. The industry simply required it. Yes, Madam is a product of that standard, and it happens to feature two of the greatest female martial artists ever put on screen at the same time. Cynthia Rothrock was a 5-time undefeated world champion in martial arts forms and weapons, competing even in men's divisions. Her abilities were so impressive that the studio rewrote a male lead specifically for her after watching her demonstrate for just 5 minutes. Michelle Yeoh had no martial arts background whatsoever. She was a ballet dancer who trained up to 9 hours a day to earn her place in the film. The finale alone took 30 days to shoot. Yeoh insisted on performing her own stunts throughout, including a backwards jump over a rail and through plate glass that remains one of the most committed physical performances of her time. Between the two leads, you have two completely different fighting styles and two completely different screen presences by two of the female pioneers of the genre. Yes, Madam is 40 years old, but the action holds up, not in spite of its age, but because of what it represents. A standard in physical filmmaking that the rest of the world spent decades catching up to. Chocolate is not a complicated film. A young woman with autism needs money to pay for her mother's cancer treatment. She has an extraordinary ability to absorb and replicate any fighting technique she observes, and there are people who owe her mother money. What follows is one of the most physically astonishing performances in the history of martial arts cinema. Jija Yanin holds a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo, which she's practiced since she was 11 years old. She trained for 4 years just for this film, 2 years of preparation, 2 more years during production. She trained under Panaritikrai, the same man that shaped Tony Jaa. The end credits roll over the footage of the injuries she sustained during production. Bones broken, flesh torn. They're not presented as a boast. They're presented as evidence. The fights are built around Muay Thai and styles that the lead watched on TV. If you enjoyed Ong Bak, Chocolate has the same bones. But what separates Chocolate from almost everything on this list is what's underneath the action. Zen's autism isn't a gimmick. It shapes how she moves, how she reads threat, how she experiences the world around her. The film asks you to see violence through a completely different set of eyes. And it really works. Jija Yanan should be as famous as any martial arts star working today. She isn't. This list exists in part to do something about that. So that was 5 films, and 5 women, and not a single one of them needed saving. But I'm curious about something. Is there a Western female-led action film that's actually good enough to belong on this list? Because I've been trying to think of one, and I keep coming up empty. Drop it in the comments below. I genuinely want to be proven wrong with this. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel. There are more videos coming soon, and if you're interested in seeing them, subscribe to 10 Point Fist. Thank you for watching.
You're no match for my Shaolin monk.
Yeah, but I'll bury you with my crouching tiger.
A little Venus flytrap?
I'll counter with Dragon Queen.
How about a little bitch? My man ain't your baby's daddy.